Welcome back to the Rogue Wave podcast, frequency for all things pop culture. Um, some cool stuff. Again, go check out roguematter.com. Everything up there is free, which is awesome. But there's also a whole bunch of stuff coming. So just subscribe to the newsletter. There's a little email newsletter that goes around, and it'll keep you up to date on all the to-dos that are happening. Again, big stuff coming up 1 month from now. All right. We covered all the movies that were coming out in 2023 that kind of fall in our wheelhouse. Now we will cover some TV release dates for Marvel, DC, Netflix, Amazon, and other superhero shows. This is an article on the popverse.com by friend of the show, Chris Arendt. We have to have him on, actually. We haven't had him on in a long time. He was always a solid guest. He would give us some inside scoop as to what was going on. And we have to, we should definitely, maybe we'll have him on for our debut show. What do you think about that, Hassan? Our season
idea.
3 debut show in February.
It's a great idea. Let's do it.
There you go. Wait,
it's
I got
happening.
the endorsement.
It's already done. It's happening.
It's working it's in the
working already.
It's in the works. And then he can shine some light on Rogue Matter to the world. It'd be great. See?
Yes.
It works
Which
two ways.
We require.
Yeah. So a show that's coming out and that's actually ending is The Flash it's on the CW. I think it's kind of interesting, too, because that comes out February 8th. It's season 9. It's the last season of the Flash run. However, it is going to feature, I don't know if you saw this, Stephen Amell is going to return as Green Arrow for the Flash season 9.
Yeah, this is it's the last hurrah for the Arrowverse. So, yeah, that's kind of how you would want to close everything out.
Yeah. And I think also, I mean, if you look at it too, it's not just the last hurrah. Now, Greg Berlanti signed a new development deal with them, so don't think he's going away. He's kind of the architect behind the Arrowverse, among other folks as well too. But with all the changes going on at
the end of with the end of Flash, that's effectively the end of the Arrowverse as we knew it.
Well, they have, what is it, the Legion of Superheroes, something like that? What's the one?
Heroes of Tomorrow.
Yeah.
I think that's over already.
Is it really? Yeah,
I think Flash. I think the Flash is the last. Right.
Well, they have Superman and Lois.
Yeah, but that's not part of the Arrowverse.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, he's part of it. Superman and Lois is.
I've seen that story-wise. They're technically not part of the Arrowverse.
Oh, technically not. Okay. Even though they debuted in well, I guess they're an alternate universe one, right? Is that what it is?
Yeah, sort of. Yeah.
Okay.
Because I mean, that Superman did debut on Supergirl, but
right.
And I haven't watched it. I don't know, but I know that it's not technically considered part of the Arrowverse. Not like Heroes of Tomorrow, The Flash,
sure,
Black Lightning, Supergirl, and Batwoman was. I think also Stargirl is not considered part of the Arrowverse. Stargirl.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, it kind of
Stargirl.
At some point, I got to start watching these shows. I started watching Arrow, and supposedly it was very entertaining. I don't know. Did you watch? Were you an Arrowverse person?
I never watched Arrow.
I
watched Flash, and I watched Supergirl, and I watched the Black Lightning, and I watched some of Heroes of Tomorrow. But I never got into Arrow. By the time I realized that Arrow was on and it was something that we should watch, it was already like season 2 and I'd missed so much. So I just started to pick up the new shows as they started.
What about Gotham Knights too? That's supposed to be like all the DC stuff is just kind of funny to me because there's so much uncertainty, surrounding all of this that, again, do I want to invest in something that's not going to be there next year?
I see your point. I don't know. What do you mean it's not going to be here next year, though? What do you mean by that?
I mean, so we have Gotham Knights. The synopsis is Batman is dead, and a powder keg has ignited Gotham City without the Dark Knight to protect it. In the wake of Bruce Wayne's murder, his adopted son, Turner Hayes, is framed for his killing. With the charismatic and hard-charging District Attorney Harvey Dent and the GCPD hot on his trail, Turner must rely on allies including his best friend and former coder Stephanie Brown. Spoiler. Literally, that's who she is. And unlikely Batman sidekick Carrie Kelly. Oh, look at that. That's the Robin from
the Dark Knight.
Yeah, or the Dark Knight. Sorry. No, Dark Knight. Yeah, Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, Dark Knight
However,
Returns.
they soon learn there is a larger, more nefarious force at work within Gotham City. This team of mismatched fugitives must band together to become its next generation of saviors, known as the Gotham Knights. Sounds really super cool. Don't know if it's going to be around next year. Don't know what's going to happen with anything that's going on at DC.
So you're not going to watch it because you don't know if it's going to be around?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not a DC guy too, but that does sound interesting. DC is just funny though because they put, on TV, DC TV stuff. They put on so much stuff that is it lives in the multiverse. It lives in these alternate realities. So kind of in the one end, that's great because you can kind of do cool things like kill Bruce Wayne, right? Like you can't kill Bruce Wayne in the, definitive universe. But you can if it's an alternate universe. However, on the flip side of things, again, you kind of sit there and you say, is it? It's kind of like the what ifs, right? Like, well, I mean, I want the definitive like story universe. Like, I don't want like a side universe necessarily. I want to know like, I mean, that was kind of the fun of reading comics for me, right? Like Batman or Superman or Spider-Man or whatever comic I was reading. I was reading like there might have been like 3 or 4 Spider-Man titles, right? But they all kind of like coexisted together. They weren't like alternate universe stories. So it was still, you're still like, invested in the main Spider-Man storyline or the main Superman storyline or the main like, Batman storyline. Like when something major happened, it would happen across all 4 books or all across 3 books, but you were following like this one trail that you could follow all the way back to, its inception. So you could follow the Spider-Man story back to 1962. And it was just the continuation of that story. When you do like alternate reality stuff, it's detached from that in my mind. And it loses its luster. Do you have that same problem or you don't care?
No. I mean, if the story is good, I don't care. In fact, it gets more exciting because the main franchise can only bend but so far before it breaks itself. So when you watch an alternate storyline, you can pretty much take it to the nth degree and not destroy canon, so people can feel that they're more free. They can do more with it.
Yeah.
So sometimes I prefer those stories.
Yeah, I think as a little kind of antidote to the main stuff, it's good. Like kind of an ancillary, kind of like a treat, right? Like it's a little treat. But I don't know. DC's got to get.
Watch it then.
DC's got to get their house of cards together.
I guess we're not going to be talking about that all too much.
What's that?
Once it comes on Gotham Knights, since you've already condemned it before it actually happened.
I've poo-pooed it.
Yeah,
I poo-pooed it.
Yeah,
We've talked a lot of DC so far. Marvel has a lot coming out in 2023. Marvel had more coming out in 2023 than I realized. You have Loki season 2, which I'm excited about. I enjoyed Loki season 1, so I'm kind of cool. I'm very curious to see them continue, the storyline, see where it goes with that. Echo is going to get its own show. She's going to get her own show. She kind of spun out of the Hawkeye show. Echo's not a major character in the comic book universe. I mean, she has moments in the Daredevil verse. So it'll be interesting to see if it'd be interesting to see if the ratings kind of become, kind of similar to like what Miss Marvel ratings were, and if they have something up their sleeve for Echo to kind of draw out I want to call it the casual fan more than, Echo would be more of the niche fan, I feel like, Secret Invasion, though, you got Sam Jackson, you got Emilia Clarke. That's the one that's the one like Marvel show where I'm like, all right, I gotta see where this, that one's probably the one I'm looking forward to even more so than Loki. And then finally, there's Ironheart and Agatha, Coven of Chaos. Ironheart got a big solid being in that Black Panther movie. Real big brand recognition. I didn't care when they announced an Ironheart series. Now seeing her in Black Panther 2, I'm like, all right, I'm very curious to see, that show. Out of the ones I mentioned, which ones stand out to you?
I don't know. Probably Loki. You know, just to see how they take it to the next level. I wasn't completely bowled over by Loki, but I did enjoy it.
Mm-hmm.
And I did like that last. I mean, a lot of people hated that last episode. They liked the whole show all the way up to the last episode. That last episode is actually what solidified the whole show for me. So it was ironic.
Yeah, I agree. I
Um,
agree.
I'm looking forward to Echo, but I mean, Echo is just going to be part of the entire, Daredevil universe that they're
Mm-hmm.
sparking up, and Daredevil's going to get something like 20 episodes next
Yeah.
year. So
Yeah.
I mean, I'm looking forward to. I'm looking forward to
Look at
actually
you.
seeing television shows with more than 8 episodes of of hype.
Are
And
you
then
ready for this? Daredevil is probably the biggest gift to both of us. You get 18 to 20 episodes. I get half-hour episodes. Very excited about that. I'm very excited about that.
yeah, that's another thing. I don't understand why there's always this kind of compromise on this material. And I think they're starting to pay for it. I mean, like I'm really glad. I hate to say this. I hate to sound like a jerk, but I'm really glad that Westworld got canceled because it just went off the rails, and then
Oh
and
God, yeah.
they're making a big deal about the fact that it went off the rails. It wasn't good anymore. You took too long to give us to give us material that wasn't really that great. And I don't know if it's their fault or not. I don't know if it's the showrunner's fault or if it's the network's fault because for the schedule that they got. But bottom line, uh, you know, content, you could say all you want about the writing and the all that other political mishmash that goes into the stuff. The bottom line is a lot of these shows just they're basically half-ass material.
Yeah.
They're all these tentative toes in the water. We'll see if this sparks anything. But then which is fine. Like they did that with Mandalorian. And he got a bunch of half-hour episodes and stuff, and that was fine. It's like we don't know if the audience is gonna be there week after week for a Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
For a brand new Star Wars character who you never see his face. We have no idea if that's gonna work. But then, okay, look, after season 1 was a phenomenon for them.
Yeah.
It's been 3 years and there's no season 2. We have to wait till the middle of this year to get season 2. I mean season 3, and it's still like a half hour, like 8 episodes of a half hour. Like, commit to it fully, make the show, right?
Yeah.
That's the same with Loki. It's kind of the same with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's like these like special events. They're not shows that you want to invest in. There's these special events that are going to come and then go away forever. And then that's going to be it. That's going to, I don't understand that. Either you're going to be in the television business or you're not. So, like, the idea, like, okay, good.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's tough because I think a lot of these shows, based off of popular movies, don't know how to be TV shows. I think it's tough when you see Hawkeye on the big screen doing awesome things, in Avengers movies, saving the world. Like, how do you almost translate that same energy, into the small screen?
No, I get it. I totally get it. But I mean, to almost not do it is not the way to do it.
Right.
That's what I'm talking about. Like if you're going to do the transition and put people on the big screen on the small screen, then don't half do it. You gotta do it all the way,
Yeah.
And that's why that's some of the stuff that I look at and don't understand. It's like the last season of Game of Thrones. Like, I understand why it's a short season. Fine. I don't know whose fault that is, if that's the showrunners or whatever. But there are some narrative mistakes that you're making that are like rookie mistakes that me on my sofa can tell, like, that is a narrative hiccup. That's not gonna, that's gonna cost you a couple of episodes down the line. That's what I don't understand about some of this stuff.
Yeah.
It's like there's
coffee cups on stage didn't help either.
No, I mean, like, that kind of stuff. That's production stuff. I get it. Just like a Mandalorian where there's a guy, in the corner. You can see the guy, the guy with the boom mic or whatever. Fine. That stuff's fine. I don't mind about that. But I just don't understand, like, if you're gonna do it, it's almost like they don't want to do it. It's almost like they're being forced to make television shows, and so they're
Yeah.
gonna do it at the bare minimum of their ability, so that they won't be forced to make any more television shows. I don't understand it. They don't look at it as a viable source of revenue, for their product. So, and it just doesn't make any sense to me.
No, I hear you on that. This next show actually has me raring to go, and it shouldn't, but then I see pictures of it, and I'm like, yeah, all right. There are a ton of '90s kids out there, okay, who loved the X-Men animated series. I thoroughly enjoyed the X-Men animated series, but I was a bit of a snob because it didn't follow the comics exactly. So part of me was almost kind of like throwing my nose up at it when I watched it, but I did enjoy it back in the day. But X-Men 97 is coming back. And again, just seeing all the old outfits, the old costumes, I mean, that is wheelhouse X-Men. That is my X-Men right there. That's there. So I can't help but want to see some of these episodes. I have to do the litmus test and show the old cartoon to my soon to be 7-year-old and see what he says. Like see if he gets bored, see if he's into it, because I don't know. I essentially, you're basically making this for, people our age, essentially, right? I mean, at the end of the day, our age or slightly younger. Can it hold,
I remember X-Men 97. I remember when it started, and I thought it was like, it was a phenomenon. But the thing I remember most of it is like after a while, the art started to get really
not
bad.
Not good.
Yeah, and I'm like, what's going on? Are these people drawing? Are they trying to make this show? Because I just don't understand why this stuff looks.
Well, that's when
bad.
they actually, drew everything. I mean, there was no
Which is
computers.
fine, but I mean, some of that art was bad. There's literally there is a episode where the Black Hawk literally did this when it was landing. It literally like they drew it like it was elastic, and I have no
it actually
idea
sticks out in my mind right now. I actually know exactly what you're talking about.
Like, and you look at that like they had to have done that on purpose. I don't know why they would do something like that. What are they trying to tell us? What are they trying to tell us? So, I mean, I'm hoping that we won't get so nostalgic that they're going to bring back the bad art along with the 97 storyline. But who knows? Maybe that's part of the charm. Maybe that's what the people will be looking for. That'll be one of the complaints about it after it's done too well. It looks too good. And then
you get obsessed with all that. You get obsessed with the complaints by people have. I only get, what is funny?
Me?
I only get upset when something is hyped up to a level and then doesn't even come close to meeting the expectations. Then I actually do go online and I want to find out if I'm the only one that feels this way. And then I feel a great joy and comfort when I'm shared by the loud voices on social media.
Everybody's got a quirk, man. Everybody's got a thing. Some people decide they're not going to watch something because they don't think it's going to be around. So why would they get into it without even bothering to watch it in the first place? I mean, everybody's got a little
my time is at a premium. At a premium.
Yeah, so is mine. We use it as we see fit.
Last one on the list that I think is kind of interesting. Gen V. So this is on Amazon Prime Video. So Amazon Prime, this is an amazing thing, right? The Boys is Amazon's bona fide hit. I think can we name, I guess Lord of the Rings is also technically a hit, right? In terms of viewership. I know it's got its controversies.
Yeah. It's according to the ratings. Yeah, it's a hit.
Yeah. But I would say The Boys is their Stranger Things kind of show, right? I think that's it. If there's an original Amazon show, maybe Jack Ryan, maybe.
I don't know about Jack Ryan because you look at Amazon by the way they're treating their shows. I think the entire season of Jack Ryan dropped at once, whereas the things that they think are trendy, they're going to do week to week. Yeah. And I think this is also the Jack Ryan season there's going to be. So I don't know how much of a hit it is. Yeah. I like it. I enjoyed the show. But I don't know if it's considered a hit. I have no idea. And that's hard, because the Nielsen ratings on these things come out like 3 to 4 weeks after they debut.
Yeah.
So we just won't know right now. But yes, that's why it took about 3 to 4 weeks for us to realize that Amazon's Lord of the Rings series was a hit. But we do have the metric of cultural phenomenon for The Boys. Like, it became a pop culture sensation.
Right.
So obviously, yeah, I would say it's fair to compare them to the Stranger
That's
Things.
got to be its flagship title, I think.
For Amazon, yeah.
Right now,
sure.
which is
At
crazy.
this
I mean,
point,
it's
yeah.
crazy to think that in a way. That it's because it's very genre specific. I mean, it's very like if you're a fan of comic books, you will really dig this.
Well, it works if you're a fan of comic books, and it works if you despise comic books. I mean, it kind of covers all bases.
Yeah.
You know, because it is kind of an anti-comic book story, right? But it does have enough comic tropes in it to keep the comic book people interested.
Yeah.
You know, if you're here to see some guy fire lasers out of his eyes and fry an entire crowd of people, or fly around and knock planes out of the sky or something like that, then it's still going to be there for you. The only problem with The Boys is that it's based on a premise where it's a little too 90s. Like they have it was a story like The Boys work in the 90s where you could get 10 years out of hating Homelander.
Yeah.
And but I mean, in our modern world, it's like, okay, you gotta bring this to a head, or you all start to look weak after a while. So now we're going into season 4 of The Boys, and they're gonna have to do something. I think they're gonna have to up the ante somehow for the audience, because there was a little bit of pushback from the season finale for season 3. In the sense that it built up to this big crescendo, and then everything, the events happen, and everything turns status quo all over again, and people are like, "Oh, what the hell?" So we'll see how season 4. I'm looking forward to it. I don't think it's over by a long shot, but I think they do have to do something.
Well, Gen V now becomes its first spinoff. So now that becomes, and it's based off, we showed the comic book clip before. And I'm actually, it's funny because I'm in, again, if you read the comic book, and I have the Comixology Unlimited, so I'm reading the comic book. It's not an easy read. I gotta be honest with you. It's not, the show is actually much more engaging than the comic book is.
Oh, you mean like the story in itself is not compelling to you very much?
He really goes into the comic book, metaphors in great detail. And so again, if you're a super fan, or if you're a super fan of hating, like hating on comics,
his repudiation of comic book genre, right? So yeah. I read The Boys. I did read The Boys, and I remember not liking it very much because it was a pretty mean send up of the genre that I enjoy. But also I didn't like the art too tough, like it was asking a lot of both.
I like Derek Robertson, he's good, but I can see that.
The art is good. I think it was overly inked. Like, it's very heavy.
That's Derek Robertson.
Yeah. And
that's just what it is. That's a stylistic thing. And for some things that he would do, like he used to draw like Punisher. I'm like, that works, man. Like, that just works for Punisher. And this one, I agree with you. It's dark. It's like, it's got a dark brush stroke kind of feel to it. I agree.
It's just, along with the subject matter, it was just like, it was very stark. I think it works with the subject matter if you're into it, but it was a bit too much for me. So, it is what it is.
All right. What do you guys think? Which television show in 2023 are you looking forward to the most? Is there any Star Wars stuff coming out? Because I didn't see anything on that list.
I mean, Mando 3 is supposedly somewhere along the line in this year, and then of course,
it's not official. Yeah, that's the thing. It's not. Yeah, it's not official as to when.
And Bad Batch started, but it's animation, so I didn't bother.
Yeah, out the door.
Because you're prejudiced on that, even though it's.
There's a bunch of stuff. There's Armor Wars. There's Umbrella Academy, The Boys, season 4, Peacemaker.
I don't know if Umbrella Academy is coming this year. Is that this year?
No, that's the thing. There's no specific date, so it's in the far.
And the next
future.
one is the last one.
Yes, which is, I don't understand what Netflix is doing. I can't.
Maybe they want to stop. I don't know. I don't know.
It's Netflix, dude. Netflix is just they are just canceling stuff left and right.
They got to keep
One
that heavy
season
rotation.
with that new show, 1899. Boom, done. Warrior Nun, 2 seasons, done. I mean,
yeah, that's a sad thing about Netflix because it used to be the alternative to cancellation, and now it's the premier cancellation vehicle. So it's kind of weird, but it is what it is.
All right, what are you guys looking forward to in 2023? Put it in the comments. We will respond to it as the show is going on, and we also respond to it during the week. So put it in there. We will respond back to you. Coming up next week, we got another Three Pine Star on coming on, which is fantastic because I love that show. Actually, I'm really excited to talk to Three Pine Star Julian Bailey. He plays Peter Morrow, who had some key episodes. He had the one standalone 2-parter that was basically all about him and his family. So very excited to talk to him about that. Talk to him about the ending too, because is there going to be a season 2? I hope so. Because there was, it ended on
without spoilers.
It ended on a quasi cliffhanger.
I wouldn't call that quasi. I don't know what your definition of quasi is, because when you do that, that's a definitive cliffhanger.
You know what? I could. Yes, there were things left kind of unsaid, but I could patch it in my head and say, "Oh, I guess that's what happened at the end." Oh, it's very Sopranos cliffhanger like. Let's put it that way.
I don't know what your definition of cliffhanger is then. Okay, fair enough.
All right, well, we'll talk more about it next week. We will see you guys next week. Hi guys, Mike Dolce here from the Rogue Wave podcast. If you like this video, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. It really helps us out. Leave a comment, let us know what you'd like to see in future episodes, and tune in every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern for a brand new episode of the Rogue Wave podcast.